Hi everybody, it is Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you at home how you can create this gorgeous sunset silhouette desert scene. I'm going to explain it step by step in acrylic. I'm doing this on canvas. I'm going to show you how to blend, how to get fine lines on your silhouette, how to create your cute moon, just everything that you need to know. So even if you've never painted before, I'm going to explain to you what you need to do to be able to follow along at home. Now, on the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
And he's going to make sure that the camera is pointing at the colors that I'm mixing and the techniques that I'm demonstrating. We have a couple of views here, and we will do close-ups during the show so you can really see in. Remember, there's also a traceable. If I'm going to show you how to do the silhouette by step, but if you don't want to draw, that's okay. I got a traceable that's free to download. There is also a step-by-step written out set of instructions that match this video and its steps. Sometimes those two learning tools can make such a big difference. Those are on the website and you can download those free. Those will be remaining up there for you. Guys, I'm excited about this. John, you excited about this?
I'm very excited.
You guys should get your paint, get your brushes, and come back because I'm going to show you how you really can paint this for yourself at home. Come on, let's go. So on the 9x12 surface, I've just got a 9x12 canvas here. My paint colors are Cad Yellow, Cad Red, Quinacridone Magenta, a little of Diox Purple, Mars Black, and Titanium White. But you don't have to have these exact colors. If you had a yellow, a red, a magenta, and a little bit of a purple, a white, and a black, and they had different names, that would be okay on this particular painting. Now, I've got a wish or intention that I may be painting into my canvas that every sunset finds you happy and loved and okay and safe. I'm going to be showing you in this thing how to create a nice transition. I will say on the brushes, it's not important you specifically have the brush that I have, but what I would recommend is that your brush, whatever it is, round, bright, a house painting brush, just be somewhere between an inch and an inch and a half in width to do this type of background. Just a bigger brush so you're not working so hard to move the paint up the canvas and get the blend. The other thing I'm going to have in this pretty quick step is a brush to blend. Now, I like to use kind of blending mops. They're soft oval mop. You can find them in a variety of prices. I can find them very economical in many different lines. You just want something soft and dry so that you can blend the colors. It's a really nice trick. If all you have is just another clean flat brush, it will work with that as well. Are you guys ready?
I think so.
You think they're ready? All right, I'm going to just do this number 30 flat by Simply Simmons. Really, honestly, it's so short out in length. I would call it a bright, but, you know, they're going to say flat, so okay. I'm going to take my watercolor wishes here and sort of blend them out into the ether. I can do the purple up there because it's going to be purple. That makes sense.
Yes.
Now, from about an inch up is going to be sky, and everything really kind of below that and coming up on the edges is the silhouette. So I'm going to start out, interestingly enough, with a little bit of white coming back and forth. Then I'm going to wipe that out with my towel because I don't want too much of it on my brush. I'm going to come back and get some of my yellow. And that's going to give me a nice yellow. Just a little bit lighter, right? I do rinse out my brush because I don't want the white in it for the next mix, and I don't want this to dry. So I'm going to go a little bit quickly. I'm going to take a little bit of my Cad red over to my yellow, and I'm going to mix them together to make a very bright orange. To blend these two areas right here. Now I can come over what is wet and very softly go back and forth over it with this brush, but I can also come back with a dry brush and create such a soft blend there. Isn't that amazing?
Really is.
So that's why it's worth, and again, just a soft dry brush will work. I'll wipe the bristles out so I can use this again. I'm not going to rinse out. I'm just going to go into my Cad red a little stronger and a little yellow, making kind of a bright orange. And come down into this orange here. And if I go ahead with my soft brush, you can see that I can blend between those two values, again, very easily, creating kind of a very nice little ombre, isn't it?
It is.
Just a nice little sunset in the desert. This works because the paint's still wet. And when the paint is wet, right, we can get nicer transitions, nicer blends. I'm just making sure I've got a nice little transition from my yellow to my orange. Now, my orange goes right into my magenta here. I'm going to come right across here. And this is how I'm going to start getting into my magenta. I'll wipe off my brush a little bit. Now I can get a little smidge of purple, I find, into my magenta for the top. And I'll get a teeny tiny bit of white. See how I just kind of get it with the corner of my brush?
Yeah.
And I'm going to come right across the top with that. Maybe even a little more purple at the top. Now, I've got this. I've wiped it off, so that's pretty clean. And I'm going to just bring these colors down, blending them together. So acrylic paint blends. Ooh, I got a little hair here. That'll happen sometimes with natural brushes. Get it kind of, ooh, it doesn't want to flick off. There, I got it up. I'll have to blend that out.
Oh yeah, just
That one there I can pick up sometimes if I go against it with my brush. And I'm going to just make sure this is a nice transition. You can come back in even with your blending brush with a little bit of the other mix. You can see what that is. It's very soft and smooth and blended. Now the one that I'd like to brighten, I think, is through here on the yellow.
all
I'm
right.
going to come back with my yellow, and I'll just go ahead and use that brush that I had for blending, but I kind of rinsed it out. And I'm going to just make sure that the yellow is going up. There we go. It's a little more blended. So blends, when you're new to painting, those can be like the more frustrating things to do in art, right? Because it's hard to know how the acrylic blends. Right? What you're fighting on your acrylic is that the paint dries on you before you're able to create these soft and blended transitions. I have a whole video on blending, troubleshooting blending, and understanding how the acrylic blends and what stops it from blending that might be worth watching. But that is how we get this gorgeous sunset. I am going to dry this. When we come back, I'll show you how to do the silhouette. For the silhouette, I'm going to be using a brush to sort of paint in larger areas. This one happens to be 3/4 inch angle. You could use a bright, you could use a round, just a slightly bigger brush so you're not working so hard to fill in the space. And I have a round brush for the areas where I want some detail. I use that strategy a lot to make sure that my painting time isn't too long. Because otherwise the painting can take you a really long time if you use too small brushes. I'm going to just come across here and paint at first just this lower bit black. Now, depending on the paint you're using, your black may require 2 coats.
And that's just because of the.
Yeah, just because that the black may not have good coverage and, be a problem. Coming across here, a nice thing. Now I'm going to create kind of a hill. I'm going to come up a little bit above this and bring this down towards the center. And then I'm going to come over through here and kind of create another little rise up and paint that down. That gives us the land that
Oh,
everything sits on. I really like this canvas. This is I think it's called Art Alternatives. Really like it. Classic cotton. You can find it. Not expensive. And it's actually really kind of pleasant to paint on. Now here at the bottom, I'll do an interesting thing. I'm going to take the corner of my brush. See how I just loaded up this corner?
Yeah.
And I'm going to make little rocks. Just rough ground. Here at the center. Isn't that cool how that makes little rocks?
Yeah.
That one got a little bit bigger. I'm just making sure that my little line of land here isn't too gardened or manicured and still feels a bit wild. I've got a bunch of plants there, so I don't have to worry about it too far up the left side of the hill. And I make some of these bumps big and some of those bumps small. It already starts to create an uneven surface for our earth.
Oh.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to show you the cactus, the grasses. So I'm going to use a number 4 round for this part, and that's just so I can get some fine lines for grasses and plants that are in silhouette. However, to know where I want to put them, I am going to take a number 4 Simply Simmons round, and I'm going to give myself my nice big cactus plants first. And that's going to start with sort of a straight line coming out. Oh, gosh, give yourself about 3 fingers from the side. That just gives you some room to give it some arms. I'm just doing a straight line down. Now, the first part, what I like to do is kind of give myself the finger of the cactus first. We laugh like we're like in grade school. We have grade school humor. You want something that's, at least a half inch thick, closer to an inch thick, just believable that it can hold up its arms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm going to show you the trick with the arms. So I'm going to come up here, not quite as tall as the main height, and I'm going to go down and in. Come down a little bit further, go down and in, way at the bottom, and in. Now, once I have those, I will also thicken them up.
Oh, yeah.
They're just a little thinner than the cactus they're attached to. That one's pretty good. Guess what? We get to do another one.
Huh.
All the way over here on the left. Let's go
Shh.
over to the left and plant up a slightly shorter, yet still vertical line. So a little shorter. Our little partner cactus is over here. Again, still starting with the main finger. Just painting those down. And I'm going to come up here, out a little bit, and over, like you do. Pretty good little fellow. Just be in there. And I'll come down and do kind of a littler one. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Now, when we have those in, what we can start to do is put grasses and things around them. Um, let's call it a step so we can really focus on the grass stroke, and that way you can really see that.
Okay.
Because that can kind of throw you off if you're new, and they have a way of helping you have a very successful grass stroke. Now we're going to add some little kind of, I think they're like a yucca, they're flowering yucca, and I'm going to take my brush and I get one drop of water, sort of swirl it around on the edge of my black here, and then I roll and I load on the tip of my brush, just the toe right there. I'm going to come to the edge and I'm going to do a flicking upward stroke. You can match up to the cactus, that's okay, right? Because silhouettes can be like that. I'm going to flick out towards the back there. These are straight, they don't have too much of a curve to them, but they'll still be sort of messy. And I'm going to give myself just a little line and a little line. On the tops of those, I'm going to make a little irregular kind of lumpy shape. And they get smaller at the top. And those are the little flowers that the yuccas bloom. But we're just seeing them in silhouette. So they're just little dots. Now coming off here, we're going to do the same sort of flicking outward. We're loading on the toe. Coming to the edge, I'm not pressing hard. My brush is vertical to the canvas. Rolling out. That's moving all the paint to the toe. Bringing those little flowers down the stalk. And you kind of recognize them, don't you? Like if you've been in the desert, you've seen these little guys doing their little thing. All right. Over on this side, similar concept, but we're going to change it up a little bit. Now my grasses might have a little bit of a kind of curve to them. I'm on the toe making little unruly grasses. Like little bits of, what? Sometimes they do that. I'm going to come off this rock here and make stick lines. They're a little bit straighter than our grasses, and they tend to have joints. They're little stickies.
Kind of sticky.
Stickies. Keep those little stickies fine. Branch them off there. And sometimes it's nice to give them little spines. Say that it's a little bit sharp and aggressive. Sharp and aggressive. And then I'm also going to add some grasses around our stick. Fixing that right there. All right. I'm really happy with that. Let's look at our silhouette. Should feel like a little desert moment. I
It
think we
is.
found one.
It's a moment in
Now
the
we're going to
desert.
add our crescent moon and our star. So when we come back, I'm going to show you how to do that. So right here, I want to give myself a little moon. I'm going to take my number 4 round and I'm going to dip a little clean water. I've changed my water into my paint, and you can see just like the black, I'm kind of swirling it around to thin it, not too much, but just enough so it will flow better for me. And really, this is just going to be kind of like the letter C.
Hold on a second. I'm going to make sure.
going to make sure that it curves out to a nice little sharp point. And then I thicken. Isn't that cool?
It is.
And we get a little moon there. That's a fun moon. It is. I like it very much. I'm going to make something sort of easy for myself. I'm going to take a dotting tool. You could use a toothpick or the back of your brush. And I'm going to go ahead and dot. I use the bigger ball. So back of your brush is always a good choice. Just a little bit down from the moon, a little dot per star. Not too bad, right?
Yeah.
I want to find like one of the smallest brushes that I have. I want a liner, like a script liner or monogram liner, something in the number 1 range, right? On most of them. Yeah, there's a little hair on my hand here, getting off before I try to, and it doesn't want to, it's like, no, I'm stuck. So I'm just going to load on the toe of this brush, and I'm going to come and do an upward twinkle. A little vertical line that goes up and tapers out, and a downward matching twinkle. And then a twinkle right here. Now I have a little friend on the other side. And then the same. Twinkle, twinkle.
Yeah. It's pretty
That's
though.
our little star. And sometimes I'll come in with my sharp brush and kind of like exaggerate my little moon tip
Yep. Moon. I like that.
just a little bit. It just gets a little exaggerated. And obviously, moons don't have holes in them.
It's good not to put
But
like
this is a fun graphic way to paint this.
this is imaginary moon.
This is art.
Well,
And we
and
get to put what we want to in art. Speaking of, I'm
can
going
I
to
say
sign down here.
while you're signing,
Hmm.
I'll say that there may be some astronomical type of stuff that would cause this to happen because the moon actually can reflect quite brightly through a setting uh, through a setting sky enough that it would shine through very brightly, even though you would still be able to see some of the colorization on the moon as it comes up. So this isn't entirely inaccurate. It's just it's just enhanced a bit.
So, really, what you've learned is how to create this gradation, which is one of those main skills you want to practice in art, especially when you're a beginner. This is a great first time painting for that because it helps you get into more complex sunset skies. Believe it or not, simple skills sometimes lead to more complicated, fun, advanced skills. I have a lot of paintings on sunset. I have a lot of paintings on one hoot, beginner sunset. So there's lots for you to do. When you come back, we're going to talk to you some more, but we'll tell you where to go next. So, guys, that was a lot of fun. Thank you for spending this time with me. I love getting new painters excited about creating art and realizing that you really can paint. Really appreciate John's time today, making sure that you guys could see all of the techniques and explanations that I was giving you. Now, remember that this comes with the traceable, it comes with the downloadable mini book. All of our lessons, really from 2021 on, have that mini book resource.
Yep.
So that's really terrific if you're enjoying that. That's just the written out instructions. You can find more of these lessons on the website. We have about 1,500 beginner lessons that start from never having painted to just needing a tutorial to pick up more advanced skills. So there's a full range of beginner classes for you with all the resources that are free and accessible to you guys anytime, which is our whole big thing, helping you guys paint. Now, I'd
Yeah.
love to see your painting, and you can share it on the website. You can share it on the Facebook group, anywhere that we have social media, and we have social media anywhere. You just hashtag in the Art Sherpa, and chances are I will see it. I will especially see it on Twitter because I'm not very good at Twitter, so that's all I do is just look at artwork that gets shared there. Guys, I hope that this has gotten you excited about art, and I want to see you at another painting. So I'm going to leave you with this thought: be good to yourself. Be good to each other. and I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye bye.